Welcome to a chilling experience where reality blurs with terror. In today's story, I recount an unsettling journey that took a nightmarish turn, a tale of a group whose seemingly ordinary trip descended into an abyss of fear. Brace yourselves as you dive into a harrowing adventure of curses, horrors, and the relentless grip of the unknown. Story: the sun had barely touched the horizon when we set off, a group of friends eager for an escape from our monotonous lives. We had planned this trip meticulously, a weekend getaway to a secluded cabin, nestled in the heart of a dense forest. Little did we know that this journey would become a descent into a living nightmare. The cabin stood in eerie silence when we arrived, as if it had been waiting for us. Its weathered wooden exterior and broken shutters seemed to tell a tale of forgotten times. We brushed off the uneasy feeling that clung to the air and settled in, convinced that the isolation would be the perfect remedy for our stress. As night fell, the forest transformed. Shadows lengthened and crept toward the cabin like dark, watchful eyes. The atmosphere grew thick with an unsettling presence, and the usual sounds of the forest seemed muted, as if held back by some unseen force. Our first night passed in uneasy tranquility. We joked about the eerie noises outside, dismissing them as the forest's nocturnal inhabitants. But as the second day dawned, things took a turn for the worse. We discovered strange symbols etched into the ground around the cabin. Symbols that we couldn't identify but that seemed to pulse with a sinister energy. It wasn't long before the first of us began to experience disturbing visions, flickering shadows darting across the cabin's walls and whispering voices echoing through the night. We tried to convince ourselves that these were mere tricks of the mind, but deep down, we knew something was terribly wrong. The real horror began when we found an old journal hidden in the cabin's attic. Its pages were filled with accounts of previous occupants who had reported similar experiences, visions of shadowy figures, a pervasive sense of dread, and a feeling of being watched. The journal spoke of a curse placed upon the land, a curse that seemed to ensnare anyone who ventured too close. Desperation set in as the manifestations grew more intense. One by one, we experienced our own personal horrors, nightmarish apparitions, chilling cold spots, and an overwhelming sense of being hunted. Our attempts to leave were thwarted by an invisible barrier, as if the forest itself had become a prison. The final night was the most harrowing. We were driven to the brink of madness by the relentless presence that seemed to feed on our fear. One of us went missing, vanishing without a trace, swallowed by the darkness that enveloped the cabin. In the end, only a few of us managed to escape, forever scarred by the events we had endured. We left behind the cabin, the forest, and a piece of our sanity. What we experienced was a curse that defied explanation, a malevolent force that had ensnared us in its web of terror. As the days turned into weeks, the sense of dread from that cursed weekend still haunted us. We struggled to return to our normal lives, but the darkness we encountered seemed to linger in every shadow and whisper in every corner. One evening, as I was trying to piece together the fragments of my fractured reality, I received a letter, an old, weathered envelope with no return address. Inside was a single, cryptic note written in a hurried, shaky hand. "You are not free. The curse endures." The message sent a chill down my spine. I had hoped that leaving the cabin in the forest behind would have meant escaping the malevolent force that had plagued us, but this note suggested otherwise. It seemed that our experience was merely the beginning of something far more sinister. I reached out to the others, hoping to find solace or answers. We decided to meet, to discuss the implications of the letter and the possibility that the curse had somehow followed us. We gathered at a small cafe, our faces marked by exhaustion and fear. Our discussion was interrupted by a sudden power outage, plunging the cafe into darkness. Panic set in as we fumbled for our phones and flashlights. In the dim light, we saw a shadowy figure standing in the corner of the room. The figure was vaguely familiar, yet its presence was deeply unsettling. As we approached the figure, it vanished, leaving us with only a cold breeze and a lingering sense of foreboding. We tried to rationalize the encounter, but it was clear that whatever force had plagued us in the forest was still at work. In the days that followed, each of us experienced strange occurrences, objects moving on their own, unexplained noises, and fleeting glimpses of shadows. It was as if the curse was not bound by the confines of the forest, but had somehow attached itself to us. Desperate for answers, we sought the help of experts in the occult and paranormal. We were told that curses of this nature often have a way of binding themselves to individuals, feeding on their fears and insecurities. The experts advised us to confront our deepest fears and attempt to break the connection between us and the malevolent force. We took their advice to heart and began a ritual to cleanse ourselves of the curse. It was a grueling process, requiring us to face our darkest fears and confront the shadows of our past. The ritual took hours, and by the end of it, we felt an overwhelming sense of relief. The oppressive weight that had been following us seemed to lift. As time passed, the disturbing occurrences gradually diminished. While we could never fully erase the trauma of that cursed journey, we found a semblance of peace. The cabin and the forest became a distant memory, a dark chapter in our lives that we were slowly learning to leave behind. Yet, even now, I occasionally receive strange, anonymous messages, cryptic warnings, and unsettling questions. It seems that the curse, the weekend, is not entirely gone. I am left with the unsettling feeling that the malevolent force may never fully release its grip. The tale of our cursed journey serves as a stark reminder of the unknown horrors that can lie hidden in seemingly innocent places. It is a testament to the enduring power of fear and the darkness that can follow us, even when we try to leave it behind. And as I share this story with you, I hope it serves as a cautionary tale, a warning of the dangers that can arise when we venture too close to the unknown.